Hi, this is Eric J. Chambers, host of The Jazzful on Smooth Jazz, KIFM 98.1 HD2 San Diego, inviting you to tune in every Sunday morning from 8 till 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on KIFM.com. Hear Kirk Whalum, Yolanda Adams, Howard Hewitt, Fred Hammond, and more. And if you have a smart speaker, just say play Smooth Jazz KIFM. If you like jazz and gospel, you'll love The Jazzful. Check out our playlist and replays at thejazzful.com. You're looking at festivities here on the campus of the University of Southern California, here in the shadow of downtown Los Angeles, California, at the Los Angeles Times Festival of Books. Hello once again, everybody. I'm Eric J. Chambers. This is the CUT Chronicles, where we chronicle urban life. And I'm so delighted to have with us once again my man, DeVon Franklin. He's no stranger to this campus.
No.
You had some good days here, huh?
I did. USC is my alma mater. I went here for undergrad. I majored in business, minored in film, and, spent many days walking up and down, Truesdale and Tommy Trojans over there. So, yeah, being home is feeling really good.
Brings back some fond memories, huh?
It really does.
Okay, tell us why you're here. You have a new project with Audible. Tell us about the project.
Yes, it's called It Takes a Woman. And it's a memoir of sorts of my family story, and I involve the voices of my mother and 5 of my great aunts, and we tell our story. My father passed away when I was 9 years old, and my mother brought in my grandmother's 7 sisters to help raise me and my brothers, and I call them the village. And the listener gets a chance to hear the village firsthand, their pain, how we navigated the trauma of losing my father. And it's one of the most personal and intimate projects I've ever done, and it's one of the ones I'm most proud of.
And you talk about how even after all of these years, you're still haunted by losing him. Explain that.
Yeah, well, I lost my dad when I was 9, and he was 36 years old when he had a heart attack that unfortunately took him out. And, the trauma as a black man growing up without a father, it still haunts me. There are things and questions that I wonder, what would he say about, where I am now, and how would he give me advice? And so when I talk about in the book that haunts me, that's what I mean. There are certain things I'll never get from him. And so the blessing is that I did have the village and black women, my mother, who really surrounded me and my brothers to make sure that we didn't become a statistic. And so in this book, you get a chance to hear our story and hear from them firsthand. And it's very transparent, very raw. When you listeners, people cry when they listen to the book. They laugh. It's just a book that really gives you the spectrum and the experience of life.
How did the idea of this book come about?
I wrote an article a couple of years ago for Maria Shriver, and it was all about my mother, my great aunts, and my grandmother who raised me. And so Audible saw that article and they said, really want to do a book on this. And so I said, oh, okay, great, let's do it. And that was the genesis of it, and been working on it for a couple of years now.
Mm-hmm. And so as a result, you contacted, of course, your mother and the rest of your kinfolk.
Yeah.
What was their responses initially?
They were nervous, and they were like, well, what? How's it going to go? And I said, don't worry, it'll be great, and I'll just ask you some questions and just give me some honest answers. And so as we started getting into it, they really started to get into it. And then once I gave them a copy to listen to, they loved it. But the thing that they loved the most was the photo shoot that Audible set us up to do. Okay? They all got flown from the Bay Area to LA. They got chauffeured cars. They had a glam, so they got styled, and hair, makeup, wardrobe. So when they stepped on set, they were like, okay, we have arrived. So that was what they loved, doing the photo shoot and the video shoot. And then now being able to talk about it, they're just enjoying. And I think also one of the reasons why I wanted to do it, I think, and this kind of goes without saying, black women are the unsung heroes of our culture and our community. And too often, we take and we leave. And we don't take a moment to make sure that their story is told. And I wanted them, while 5 of my great aunts are still alive, my mom is still alive, I wanted them to have a moment to tell their story, and for a moment for them to be acknowledged for what they've done. So many of the sacrifices they made behind the scenes. Nights they stayed up crying, not knowing what to do, but doing the best they could for their children and for us. And what better way than to take a moment and take an opportunity like this to put them on the world stage so the world can see who they are and know that their sacrifices were not in vain.
You mentioned something, DeVon, in the forum a few minutes ago about you kind of sassing your mother.
Yeah.
Tell us that story and the fact that she remembered it even though you had to kind of dig it up out of your own memory.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's a chapter the listener will hear when they hear It Takes a Woman where it's called If You Don't Know Me By Now. And there was a moment growing up where I just basically accused my mother of not knowing me. And in that moment, she said, well, at least I kept you. And what I didn't know then, which I came to find out, was that what she meant was she was given up to be raised by my great grandmother from the time she was born till about 12 years old, before my grandmother finally came to raise her. So my mother always felt abandoned. And her view of success was that she kept me and my brothers. She did not let someone else raise us. But for me, I thought, oh, well, Mom, you don't care about me. You don't know about me. Not understanding all the sacrifices she was making on my behalf. So that chapter is probably one of the most visceral chapters because you hear her response for the first time. This first time we ever talked about it was for this book. First time. And she talks about how what I said to her still haunts her. And that she was doing her best, but didn't realize there was something that maybe she didn't do. So, this book is, I'm telling you, it's the most transparent thing I've ever done.
A couple more quick questions. What do you hope the listeners get as a result of hearing your story with your mother and her sisters?
Yeah, I hope the listeners, first of all, get love. First and foremost, I want the listeners to hear love. There's so much love in this project, so much love in their voices. There's so much healing in it. I want the listeners also to get healing. We really expose our wounds, and we also talk about the triumphs as well. We talk about what God has done through our life, and I really hope that anyone listening will find healing emotionally from whatever they've been going through. I also hope that the listener will find community. I think this is a book that even though it's our story, it's all of our stories, especially the Black family story. And I think that I want the listener to feel connected and to know that we're all in the same community. Scripture talks about there's only one body. And I believe that this book really reminds us of that.
Final thing, people look at you, they see the success that you have the things that you've been able to do here in Hollywood and beyond. A lot of them think that your life has been a gravy train with biscuit wheels.
Biscuit wheels. I love it. No, but that's why I wrote this book. So when you listen, you're going to hear the trauma and the tragedy and the heartbreak that I've had to endure to do what I'm doing. What I'm doing, you're talking to a unicorn in terms of somebody that I should have been a statistic. My father died when I was 9 years old. I mean, the statistics say that I'm not going to end up here. But here I am talking to you and having this great opportunity from Audible, but for the grace of God. So when people listen, they're going to hear, wow, we only thought he was this. But then they really hear all that I've had to endure and come through and where all this comes from. All this comes from great pain and great trials and great tribulations, but also appreciating the triumph too.
Okay, DeVon, tell us where the recording is available.
It's available on Audible. So if you have the Audible app, you can get it that way. You can also get it through Amazon via vis-a-vis. They have like a little tab on there for Audible. You can go to the Audible website and you can get It Takes a Woman. You can download it right now and start listening right now.
Okay, any new projects coming up? And I know you were doing something with Yolanda Adams, right? Kingdom Business?
I got a new TV series with BET and BET Plus coming out called Kingdom Business. And it's kind of like Empire, but set in the world of gospel music. And we have Yolanda Adams and Soraya and Michael Beach and Michael Jai White and some new talent in the form of his name is Chandre. We also have Aspen, who's in it. We also got Kirk Franklin. I mean, this show is going to blow you away. 8 episodes, 1 hour, BET Plus, coming May 19th. All episodes are dropping. So I promise you, y'all better watch out. You ain't never seen gospel music look and sound like this.
Okay, well, good seeing you again, my man. 2011 was the first time we met when I was on the Word Network.
So much has
Man.
transpired over the years, but I'm super proud of what you've been able to accomplish.
Thank you.
And even in your wilderness, you know,
Yeah.
you have been able to, peek your head up above all of that. And I'm
Yeah.
proud of you for being able to navigate your way through that.
Thank you, my brother.
Because in life, we all have rain that falls, and it's a matter of who's going to run for cover and who's going to, face the drops. And you face the drops.
Amen.
And it's good to see you smiling once again.
Thank you, brother.
And I wish you the very best,
I
okay?
appreciate you, man. Thanks for holding me down.
Okay.
Appreciate you.
Once again, this is my man DeVon Franklin. You can get his new audio recording on Audible. In the event just before this, we had some of the people who were listening, and we talked to some of those who were in attendance. Let's hear what they had to say about what they heard from DeVon and others in today's panel discussion.
I recently lost a very close, my favorite auntie, recently after a long illness. And so this was something cathartic for me because I had to make sure I was here in the building to connect with these voices. And I was so glad, so enriched, so blessed to be enveloped in that and kind of nurtured in that, and really hearing the stories, especially with DeVon's aunties and how they were sharing candidly the things that they went through, the ups and downs, and how we all go through those things. So
today's event, actually, it was incredible. I believe obedience is better than sacrifice, and so when I seen the flyer go up, my spirit told me to come to this event. And one of the things I admired the most was them walking in authenticity and being truthful, diving into conversations that is not really heard in the African American community, like traumas. And I believe that them walking in their truth has allowed me to embrace and walk in mine, to be able to go deeper. And some of the things that I've been through when I was younger, to go neck to neck with those things and heal.
Hi, this is Eric J. Chambers of the CUT Chronicles in Hollywood, inviting you to pick up my newest book, Mama, I Want to Know You, a living journal of history still in the making, with questions to ask your mothers and grandmothers before it's too late. The foreword is by Dr. Don Lewis, with special contributions from Akuswa Busia, Nettie from The Color Purple, Karen Hunter of SiriusXM Satellite Radio, and Sally Ann Roberts and more, paying tributes to their mothers. It's available in June 2022 at whodatpublishinghouse.com. That's whodatpublishinghouse.com. Visit our website today for the details.
Again, from the Los Angeles Times Festival of Books here on the beautiful campus of the University of Southern California in Los Angeles, I'm Eric J. Chambers saying so long, everybody.
Yeah.